Right, so second video now. Previously we just talked about Avengers Age of Ultron and what we think of the film just before it's getting released. And then we kind of were mentioning about the Marvel Cinematic Universe and how they seem to be expanding it with other characters. Like they recently said that they're going to add Spider-Man into it. Now there's this new TV series, this Daredevil series, which is a Netflix deal. Neither of us have watched it yet.
Yeah, mainly because it's on Netflix and I don't have Netflix at the moment.
Yeah,
but,
I have acquired a copy from somewhere, but I haven't actually got around to watching it. That's kind of irrelevant because we're not here to review the series. I'm very well aware of the connections, the implications, the implied connections into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm aware of that, having not seen the show. I don't need to seen the show necessarily. I'll just kind of tell you as well, because there's a couple of things. First off, there's reference to other Marvel superheroes, namely Iron Man. There's a reference to like a guy in a metal suit. People are saying, oh, that means it's connected to Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man. That's proof that it's just set in continuity with that. There's also a bit where you see a newspaper and it refers to the Battle of New York, and it does, in fairness, show a photograph which is a still from Avengers Assemble where it shows the Chitauri invasion. So that is kind of, you know, a connection. Now, there's different degrees of connections. Whether this is intended to be canon with those films or not is debatable. You can say that these implied connections prove a connection, but you can also, by the same logic, say that the X-Files is in the same universe as The Simpsons because there was a crossover.
Yeah, an episode of The Simpsons that had...
yeah, Springfield Files, yeah. You could also say the same with RoboCop, the really bad... I mean, there was the TV series, the 93, 94, I think it was, Future of Law Enforcement series, had clips from the film with the actors in the film in flashes. That doesn't necessarily mean it's set in continuity with the films. It was just a nod because they could do it. Now, at this stage, I don't really see it as such as being set in the same universe. Doesn't matter whether I've seen the show, I'm not saying the show's bad or good. Just based on what I know.
Yeah, we're purely talking about canon at the moment.
And to have mentioned Iron Man, well, they could mention Captain America or the Hulk, but which version? I mean, would it be Red Brown, like you said? Would it be Red Brown's Captain America? It's just
would it be
Iron
the 90s Captain America?
Yeah, exactly. So that doesn't mean, again, it's canon. It's a nod for the fans.
Also, for canon to work, it needs to be kind of both ways, if you get me.
You'd have to have the films, the characters from the films in the series, and characters from the series in the films, like what they're doing with Spider-Man. They're going to have Sony Spider-Man in a Marvel film, and then they're going to have some of the Marvel characters in a Sony Spider-Man film. That is that is set in the same universe. I don't think it's, they've dropped the ball, they haven't done enough of a connection. It's probably for the best that they haven't done, like with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I think they're probably keeping the options open, because I know Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. hasn't been as much of a success as they hope. And to be honest, I think that's partly their own fault, because they haven't put in a bigger connection. We haven't seen Coulson in any of the Avengers films since Avengers Assemble. I mean, the Marvel films, rather.
Yeah. We haven't seen any of the characters from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. established in the series in the films yet.
However, that is canon, despite the fact that a lot of the connections are a bit one way, as the show linking into the films rather than the films linking into the show. But it has been come out by like all the people who are working on it, by like all the people up in Marvel have basically turned around and said, yes, this is in continuity, this is the same like universe. Just like the comic preludes, they're all like tied together. Now, Daredevil is not been like mentioned as part of that.
Not really. I mean, they've said there's a connection if you want it to be, and there's things like I don't see why it can't be in connection with it. But
however, if you want it to have a connection, and if you feel like it, and I don't see any reason it can't be, is not the same as this is canon.
And it's been a subject of some major debates on the internet, fans talking about it. And the way I see it is canon if you want it to be, it's part of the universe. You can say that about like Michael Keaton's Batman and Christopher Reeve's Superman. You can say there's a connection if you want it to be. Well, there isn't really in that, but it's just one of those things where until they actually do a legitimate connection with characters crossing over as such.
I mean, at the moment, they could just bring out a new Daredevil film next week, which would have no link to the TV show at all, but be part of the Marvel canon.
Yeah,
and it wouldn't even create like a ripple.
Yeah, what would you do then? You know.
I mean, whereas if they said, "All right, well, we're making like another Shield film, but we're going to completely disregard all the stuff we've done in Agents of Shield," that would be a little bit harder because they have actually specifically said this is canon, this is part of the cinematic universe, this is happening. So if they suddenly turned around and said, "Nope, Coulson's always been dead, he never came back, this never happened," that would be a little bit harder for them to sell without like specifically going out and saying, "Yeah, well, we were wrong. This wasn't, you know."
Yeah, or just saying it was like a what-if universe or something like that, which they do in the comics and all the time. But yes, I mean, with this Daredevil,
like I say, at the moment, Daredevil, there is nothing that could stop them turning around at any point and going, "This isn't canon. This has nothing to do with it. We're not directly in charge of this."
Like I say, it's open at a later stage for them to cross over if they want to. I think they'll probably wait and see if the character's like successful in the series. I think the fan reaction's been quite good. I certainly
see no reason why this couldn't work. It's kind of in the same league to me as, say, Arrow. It's a street level character. He doesn't have fancy powers. It's not hard to like represent most of his characters. It's perfect for a TV show because you wouldn't need to have a huge special effects budget all the time. You just need to have some decent stunts now and then, and some like somebody who can fight, basically, which isn't much of a problem for TV shows because you often get these kind of martial arts shows like there was like a Mortal Kombat show for a while and stuff like that. Getting somebody who can do like passable martial arts on TV isn't that hard. I mean, Buffy had like tons of fight scenes and things. So yeah.
Well, I think the connection's there if you want it to be. I think that's the way that they're doing it. That's the way that they want to do it. So again, this isn't they've cocked.
They're leaving the door open. They're not saying. Because I think that was one of the stupider things they did when they did Man of Steel. Was like, no connection to the Dark Knight. But no, why? No connection. Because this was even before they decided they were going to do like the big
Justice League stuff.
Yeah. Because I'm sorry, sod off. They never intended to like do a huge DC cinematic universe until they saw how successful Marvel was being. They were not planning this when they started doing Man of Steel.
I mean, I'm sure they would have like talked about and thought about it, but the actual plan, the roadmap, I don't think was laid out in that sense. So yeah, but with the Daredevil series, again, I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm not saying it's not part of it. I'm just saying it is part of it if you want it to be, and I'm sure that they will throw more things as the series develops to kind of connect it. But I think they want it to stand on its own 2 feet, and from what I understand, it has done. I would like Daredevil to be part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe if it's done well, which, like I say, it seems to have done. Because it's not really something I would want to see.
It's something that since I started hearing about it, I thought, I'm interested in seeing where this is going. I want to see a little bit more.
Yeah, so I think that's pretty much all I can really say about it. Like I say, I mean, you can say it's got a legitimate connection based on the little things they've tied together. I see those more as nods rather than...
Yeah, like I said, when it actually legitimately has a crossover with at least Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., then I'll say it's canon. When it's got like an actor from one of the films showing up as that character, like I'm Maria Hill, I'm
whoever.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of who else they could like have showing up, like
Nick Fury.
Yeah, Nick Fury. You know, when they've specifically got something like that in like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has had, where it's like not just like a still image or like a vague mention to an Iron Man.
I mean, why?
Then you know.
Well, we've got the Civil War thing coming up as well. It's going to be like a big sweep of superheroes. So, I mean, it would really like help benefit that film. Because I did a mailbag video about this the other day about how large is the Marvel Cinematic Universe large enough to do a Civil War. This would be a perfect time to bring this Daredevil into that film. But from what I understand, they're not going to do that. But I think that film's only out next year. But unless they do, but. It'd be great if they did, but if they don't, then why aren't they? That will be a question. So maybe we should talk about this in another year's time when that film comes out. You know, if they're going after all superheroes, why was Daredevil not seen in there? They could do a reference, they could do a nod in the films to the series, rather than a full-on crossover. But we'll see. That's my opinion on it. I would say it's been subject to quite a bit of like debate and hostility on there. So we'll probably see a few comments on YouTube about it. You know. So as I say, it's something that the jury's I guess out on for now until they do.
Yeah,
more.
until there's either like a major movie character who rolls up. I mean, not like a major as in like one of the Avengers, but a major as in a main like named character, like Maria Hill, like Sif, or something like that, who shows up in Daredevil, or there's some kind of specific, like Kevin Feige or somebody else high up in the Marvel MCU, who turns around and says, yeah, this is canon, we consider this part of our universe. We're not going to see him in the films because, you know, this is a TV show, we're talking about films, they're not going to...
We want it to stand on its own, all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean, fair enough, but until something like that happens and they say, yes, this is canon, this is part of our vision of the universe, it isn't. And at the moment saying, well, there's no reason it shouldn't be, isn't the same as saying, yes, this is.
So, I think we'll leave that there anyway. So, that's, I guess, I don't know if we're going to be doing that many videos before Age of Ultron comes out. We spoke about that in the last video. But coming up on Sunday, we've got quite kind of a big deal. It is Cole's birthday coming up on Sunday. So
Way.
the birthday pants will be out for that. And,
No!
They've been on Topher's ass crack.
No!
Right, okay, so I think we'll leave it there, and we'll see you next time. Thank you very much for watching.
See ya.
Hi guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Just so you know, for more news, reviews and retrospectives, you can like our page on Facebook, simply called Brand X Reviews. But as well as that, you can also subscribe to us on YouTube via this video. You can also bookmark our website, which is brandxreviews.com, which is pretty much a central hub for everything that I've just mentioned. So check that out and we will see you next time. Thank you very much.